Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into a really good Wednesday. This is crazy, like the number of items, and there's some cool stuff. So it's pretty cool going from some low sales days to another high sale day. So I'm in a pretty good mood. All right, first up right here, got some good sun. It is super hot outside right now, so I'm like a little bit sweaty, but I do pretty well with getting in some sun. Picks up my mood. All right, got a lot of 54 of these Lord of the Rings trading cards. These are commons and uncommons. These are for the set. I have to look down Siege of Gondor. There's a bunch of these different sets. Lord of the Rings is super popular. I like Lord of the Rings. The cards are pretty cool. There's like 20 or so, like I said, different sets. I haven't played the game before, but whenever I find this stuff, I do bid on it. Other people kind of bid on this stuff up too, but did pretty well with it. This was interesting because my brother goes to like card shows. He does a bunch of wrestling cards. It's kind of like his main thing. So I decided to tag along one time. I didn't find anything, but at the end there was someone that just had basically a bunch of random cards in like a box. They were like 5 cents each. So I saw the Lord of the Rings cards. I saw some like rares and foils, and I was just going to cherry pick those for like 5 cents each. Then I just asked the person if I could get a bunch of them. It was supposed to be $30. I went down to 20. I didn't really care if I did or didn't get them, because if I didn't get all of them, I was just going to pick the rares and foils. And then they ended up taking offer. So this ended up selling for $19.99 plus shipping. Everything's plus shipping. I didn't make money from that card show yet because there's still like fees on this, and then the time, and also like a little bit of packing materials. But I listed about 50 or so individual cards and about 10 or so different lots of commons and uncommons, and I did the rares and foils themselves. All right, next up is going to be a lot of four Rackham Confrontation. These are miniature cards without the miniatures, so just four of them. I've seen like Rackham before. It kind of has this like gritty fantasy kind of art style right here. I don't know if I've gotten the miniatures before. I'll get like books and just like all the side accessories. So I've never got main stuff, so I can't picture like what the full game looks like. But these four cards end up selling for $15, which is pretty good. All right, next up is a German edition board game. I love to sell the foreign board games. I haven't sold too many recently, but that's because most of my foreign games sell, and then I haven't been able to replenish them in a year or two. But yeah, Vosfeld Denda right here, which is, it's supposed to be something like What's Missing There card game. Like I said, I like to pick up the foreign games. There are people that are in America and they like to pick up the foreign games. So some people collect a bunch of different stuff. I'll get to it later on, but there was a person where we had like a different language Settlers of Catan expansion, and they sent us a picture of their collection. It was every Settlers of Catan expansion of every language, which is pretty cool. And then they sent an offer, and they were like, please take this offer. They're like, this is the last one for the collection. So it was less than I was asking for. This was before I was recording. I was like, you know what? I'm helping someone complete like an actual Ultimate collection. That's pretty cool. So yeah, this ended up going for $20. It's also like a unique card game. And a lot of card games, you don't even need to know the language to play them. You just know the rules and you just play, All right, next up is going to be Munchkin VIP Anniversary Party. This is going to be a promo card. You've seen me. I have a bunch of these promo cards. I had another one, so I already relisted it. So yeah, this is going to be a door card. This is by Steve Jackson Games. But yeah, people like to add their cards to their collection in their game. There's also people that collect Munchkin stuff, speaking of collections. But yeah, $15 for this card is pretty good. All right, next up is going to be, I did not add it up. Well, I guess I can like do quick math here. I think most of these were $7 a piece. So there's also kind of like a story with this. So there's four, 5, 6, 7. So basically right under $50. Well, there's some change for some of these. So basically about $50 for this combo order. These are all board game play money. So we got Monopoly Junior, Trust Me. I don't know what this one's from. It just says the dollar amount right there. It goes from ones all the way to 500. A Milton Bradley game right here, more play money. This one, it says Late for the Sky. I think that's a variation of a Monopoly type of game. Maybe not exactly Monopoly, but one of those companies trying to make similar games. This one I don't know. And then this one is also, I can tell this is probably like an older one. These are smaller. They're kind of like a cardboard, not the paper money. So I got a bunch of one of the, I had an opportunity to get a bunch of this play money from board games. And I was like, will people like them? I'm like, you know what? Anytime I doubt it, so I picked them all up. It was really cheap to get like a bunch of them. And most of them had sold at this point. They're not like fast sellers, but people are going to use play money for all sorts of things. So that this person is probably not replenishing their board games. I could be wrong. Maybe they just want like crisp. These are basically almost brand new because I get like the board game bits and pieces. So yeah, someone's going to be using this. Play money is kind of hard to find just in general, maybe for like a kid or something like that. Like you can find those like little kits in like toy stores where you get like 5 1s and a couple of 5s and a 10. You don't get like a huge stack of them. So yeah, $50 for board game play money is kind of cool and crazy. All right, next up, sorry, they paid separately, and I told them I would refund that when we were printing labels today. So I could have made a new lot for that, but yeah, don't have too much left of the play money. Like I said a while ago, got a bunch. Moving along, we have these. They're called a Choose Your Destiny novel. These are like kind of like high school choose your own adventure books. You saw that we got a huge collection. We did it on the channel at one point. But yeah, they're all like what ifs. Your past came back to haunt you. What if everyone was doing it? What if you broke all the rules? What if everyone knew your name? Well, everyone knows my name. I walk into the gas station. They're like, hey, how's it going, Retro Dream Beam? I walk into the grocery store and they go, oh, that's the eBay seller. He's been doing it for 3 years now. All right, I'm just kidding. All right. I gotta goof around. We got a bunch of these books. I put them as a lot for $55 right here. So yeah, people do like these unique kind of choose your own adventure books. It's cool because I did choose your own adventure books, most of them separate, but this one I was like, you know what, I'll put these together because they didn't seem to sell for too much individually, but I could have done it. All right, next up is going to be a DVD. Never actually saw this one, Black Swan. I know a lot of people like this movie and saw it. I actually completely forget what it's about, but yeah, we do pretty well with the physical media. I haven't picked up any recently, but we do well with it. We think it's underrated, as I've talked about before, like with my dad during the interview. $7.04 for that. All right, moving along. These were kind of crazy to me, these Dark Horse Extra comics. This one right here is issue 37. I have another one, so I relisted it. This one sold for $30. It's going international. And then we have this issue number 47 right here, also going international. The person paid $30 each for these, so that's $60. These were just kind of sitting in the room for a while. I needed to find a bin towards the bottom of the storage unit because I'm not putting a bin with a bunch of these comics things. Like, it was heavy. It was gonna be like 30, 40 pounds. I'm not gonna like break a shelf. I have to be aware of where I put things and where I store things to protect the item and to protect myself and to protect the shelf. So that makes sense. So I finally found a spot for these and I sold $140 yesterday, $60 today, relisted these two. I have a bunch of each of them. So I was like, holy moly, this is awesome. So yeah, that was a huge sale. All right, next up is going to be Deadlands Ranger's Bible, addendum number 84, The Voodooists. Deadlands is going to be this Wild Wild West RPG game. There's also going to be the cards for it. There's also Doomtown Reloaded, also like similar. I think it's within the Deadlands realm. But yeah, just think Wild Wild West, poker playing, and then cheaters who are cheating in cards and pistols and, you know, all that shootouts. But yeah, this ended up going for $11.62. Voodoo's alchemy, you know, kind of like that kind of realm. It's not all factual. There's going to be like a little bit of stuff like that in there. That's going to repeat buyer. I got a bunch of these a long time ago, so those do pretty well. Deadlands and Doomtown stuff, it's kind of more hipster, very slow to sell, but it's kind of like one of those products, the nerdy ones, where I know when someone likes the lore and the story, because there's a lot of lore. I like to pick up stuff where people can like sit down and just read it. They don't have to play it because then they get into just reading. And a lot of people like to read stuff like that. So I then grab it, Doomtown, Deadlands. All right, next up is going to be Warhammer. This is Underworlds. This is going to be the Spectral Guard Rivals deck. So I'm pretty uninformed about this Warhammer Underworlds thing. The first time I ran into this was when I got a huge box of these cards. I actually had to sort them by like their deck and stuff. So I wasn't really sure if it was, I thought it was just a card game. And then I realized it's actually like a miniature game on a hex grid. So you're going to be using these cards, I think, as powers and abilities for the few miniatures that you are battling with on this hex grid. So it's just like another variation of like Warhammer, like a different type of game. But yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around like what the cards are, how to list them, how to organize them. It kind of stumped me. So yeah, I put the decks together that I could, and then I have a bunch of loose cards I haven't done anything with. I can maybe make a bulk lot, but I'm not too sure how the game plays. I have to like dig deep into it, maybe read more, maybe watch some videos about it just to get an idea of how to actually sell this stuff. This sold for $15 though. I had it listed for more. I had it listed for like 33, and then someone just sent a message. It was very nice. They were just like, hey, would you be willing to take $15 just because this is just the deck? And then I was like, yeah, that's fine. I sent when someone messages you, you can send an offer. So I just sent the offer. I said, that's perfectly fine. I did let them know. I was like, I have a bunch of other Warhammer Underworlds cards if you want to do combined shipping, but they only picked up the one, which is fine. I have a bunch of those. I already listed most of them. All right, next up is going to be Settlers of Catan, but this is just a storage box. This is going to be a more modern version of it. It has the Game Genic right here. So this is when Asmodee picked up Settlers of Catan. I don't want to like mess it up here. I'm trying to be careful. Someone probably bought this as a replacement container right here. It actually has like a nice little tray where you keep all the hexes, the cards, and all the components. So yeah, this is just for the box. I didn't know if someone would pick it up. Sold it for $15.99 plus shipping, which is pretty good. There's so many versions of this game. This game kind of got me into modern board games. For people that don't know board games, this is kind of like the middle age Monopoly. This is like early 2000s Monopoly. This was like the game that people played to get them into more modern stuff. So on the back here, you're going to set up a bunch of hexes. It's kind of like a simple game where essentially the base of the game is you roll dice, people get cards, like resources in their hands. So think of like playing like a card game like Hearts or something. Then you're allowed to trade people. And then there's like a little sheet of a couple of things you can make. And you're trying to get 10 points, and almost everything works you towards 10 points. And the first person to get 10 points wins. So yeah, you'll have like different hexes here, and the hexes have a number which tell you when that number is rolled, anyone who has a little house or a settlement next to it will get resources. And then yeah, you're just using the resources to build up stuff. So there's no combat. There is like a robber in the game where I think if you roll sevens, you get to move a robber to near one of the hexes, and then you get to pluck a card from someone's hand randomly. So like that's kind of fun. But other than that, there's no like combat and stuff. You're just trading resources. You're using your political power with your mouth to trade people and trick them into good deals and bad deals. And it's also just relaxed. You don't have to trade anyone. You can win the game by just collecting the resources, picking good settlements and good spots where there's good numbers. So yeah, I just want to give people like a history. I know there's a lot of people who probably watch the channel who aren't into board games. This is the modern Monopoly. It's kind of gone down in popularity a lot in the past 5-10 years, but people still love this game. This is like what they think of when they think of board games. All right, last up is going to be this Amber Journeys Beyond. I think this is some kind of PC game. I don't remember this one. Oh, it says Death is Not the End. Sorry, that's also part of the title. Don't remember this one, but I like to pick up ones where I'm like, I don't know what that one is. Kind of has this like, it's all dark in the background. You see like a flashlight coming at you as if you're like looking at them in the dark, and it's kind of blinding you. But yeah, that's it. $10.80. That's it. That was a lot of stuff. All right. I'm super appreciative of this. This is like, I don't know. We keep having these like good middle of the week days. So yeah, this is Thursday, but this is a lot of stuff from Wednesday and a couple of things that I woke up into Thursday. So I don't know, it's crazy. I'll take it. All right. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to help support us. Take a look at our shop down below.